I always walk. You're not going that way. I'm driving 2 hours to Madison. You think I care one bit about another mile and a half? You know, because if I drive him there, he might utter half a phrase that's impactful for my pool game. And he shows me and tells me, okay, well, then I'd be hungry because I haven't eaten all day. I said, hey, let me buy you breakfast. We'll stop at Waffle House. It was a 24-hour place, you know. So he said, okay. So it was cheap. We go in there, we started talking about pool. He started talking about specific shots that happened that night that I did wrong and he did wrong, but he didn't point out during this. And he'd say, you know that when you had the 14 ball, he'd take a napkin out of the holder and take a pen. You had the 14 ball over here and the cue ball here, and you tried to go in there, but you didn't have an insurance ball here. You can't do that. That's why you got trapped over here. You were counting on getting something off of that 14. It's not there. You always got to have a ball hanging over here where you got, if you don't get anything, you can't just gamble because the math catches you. So I said, oh, okay. And then he started talking about specific shots that he chose and why. And we'd be drinking coffee. Now it's 4 in the morning. There's a pile of napkins on the table of shots from the night. Oh, yeah.
You got your lesson.
Exactly. And then I'd be driving back to Madison. Okay, I'd drop him off, and I'm like wired for sound. Like I'm thinking about that 4 ball he said I did wrong, and with that one shot he made, and when he got 63, it was unbelievable. You know, and then like I just want to go right to the pool room right then. I was like him last night. He couldn't wait to start playing. Okay. And then I'd get home at 5 in the morning, and the pool room opens at 11. So if I sleep really hard for 5.5 hours, I can be there right when he opens. And that's what I would do. And I would start working on it. Oh, so the next month when I go see him, I'm going to be better than this. I'm going to do it better. I'm going to work hard. Now, it took still a long time. But a year and a half into that, I finally ran 100 balls. It was on a day directly following my day with him. That was always his benchmark. He would never say, well, you know, I beat Nathan last night. He don't care about that. But if you say you ran 100 balls, he knows you did something. Maybe Nathan missed the 9 ball 6 times. I don't know. I mean, a win or loss, what does that mean? But if you run 100, you had to do, you're a life master. I ran 100. So I was so happy. Oh my God. And it's very draining mentally to concentrate hold that focus through that progression of the balls, no matter what the shots are. And then the second time I ever ran 100 balls, we're on another day directly following Saylor. So if you don't think he was impactful, you know, and he would never, one time he came down to, I got to the finals of the pro division in the state Wisconsin straight pool championship. It was very prestigious. It was held at the Mecca Auditorium at the sports show, and so you'd have hundreds of onlookers. One person had ever run 100 balls in there. I'm playing Ron Dobozinski, who's a real threat for me. And I win the lag, he breaks, leaves 2 balls out, run 100 and out. Second guy ever. Oh, God, I was floating. But then I was so nervous I'm in the finals that if I blow it tomorrow, nobody will ever remember, you know, it means nothing, you know. So I just didn't want to have a letdown because I could see me, because I was so exuberant about accomplishing this goal in a prestigious tournament. And so I concentrated. Anyway, ended up I won. Okay, so I'm the state champion. Saylor never once mentioned it, but he had a copy of the score sheet from the match before on the wall. Marco ran 100. That's all he would ever say. He would never say I was the state champion of the pro division. He only talked about that one game. You know, that's just him. He's just a real principled.
That stuff gets to people's heads too when they, I'm a state champion, and they feel like they've accomplished something, so they don't have.
Maybe he didn't want me to get a big head about it. Yeah, probably, but I wouldn't have because I've been humbled so many times.
Keep going and going even more higher than.
And it really goes, yeah, exactly. And it really goes to this. Here's what most people do, but this is not what we're going to do. Okay, and they'll say this. You guys, I don't know if you remember this, but 7 years ago, I beat Efren Reyes playing on that 9-foot right over there, okay? Right here, okay? But Mark, yesterday you lost the old grandma over here. What are we talking about that day? You're talking about that one thing that happened 7 years ago. So measure yourself by your worst day, not your best day. And then don't go into it. Sometimes you gotta learn to win ugly. It's not a pretty thing. You don't just go wire to wire to win a real tournament. You're gonna have to come from 4-0 behind or something and win 7-5. Or you're not going to win a tough tournament. If you go wire to wire, it's not a very good tournament. That just doesn't happen. You're going to have to, so you have to fight, you have to dig down, you have to win with less than your A game sometimes. And so, but don't go into the death spiral of negativity and like this. Well, it's too hot in here. Wait till it's walked in front of my shot. His cell phone went off.
Just believing that because somebody's way higher than me, you're going to lose. Just try and get as many balls off as you can.
No, there was some of that for me too. I played Mizrak and he was unbelievable. His titles, his credentials, and mine, nothing. I've never won a pro tournament. He won 4 straight U.S. Opens. I'd be playing them. He would turn me into a fan. He would hit some shots like at the end of them. I'm like, shit, that was good what he did. Did you see that shot? But then and he would smoke me. But then once I realized, listen, I don't have the credentials and he's better than me, period. I can't help it. This is who I got to play. I just got to concentrate on what I do and make my stroke good every single time. And whatever happens, happens. I'll settle for that. As soon as I did that, now I became a competitor.
That's what
Now I started to win. I started to win some of my share. But he is the one guy I never beat, Steve Mizrak. And there was time when we got to the winner of the winners bracket of the Reds Houston tournament, and I beat a litany of big names to get there, underdog, playing good, and I was just feeling good, and I'm like, this is my tournament. I'm in the top 3. The worst I can do is 3rd, so here we go. I'm gonna win this tournament. And I drew, it was me and him. And I won the leg, broke and ran the first rack of 9-ball, 1-0 going to 11. I almost never shot again.
Oh, no.
Almost never. I mean, I was just sitting there. He just took it, But when I won that first game with a break and run, I thought, yes, for sure, it validates I'm going to win this tournament. I wasn't bragging. I wasn't feeling like that. I was just feeling good. Like, I am playing good, But he's that good. He can shut you down, So, yeah.
So you were talking earlier about when you would play straight pool with Sailor that he would have started to ramp up. He'd maybe miss a shot and then shoot 6 in and then 15 and then 60. That ramping up happens a lot, doesn't it? Like even in 9-ball, if you watch the pro.
Well, in his case, he's been back there sanding on cues all day, glue on his fingers. That's why he wants to table it. He wants to be inspired. He wants to table immaculate, and it's real serene and quiet. There's no music or anything. It's just me and him. And I bet you once per hour there'd be one sentence passed between the two of us. I bet that's it. It was strictly focused, and then what would happen, he'd start off ratty because he's not limber. And then, he wouldn't have much of a run there. At first, he'd have a number of innings, maybe 7, 8 innings, where he didn't get more than 6 or 7 balls. But then all of a sudden, man, here comes the 24, and then here comes the 39.
9-ball too, that they start.
But they're usually warmed up.
A shot or 2 on the.
Oh, yeah, the match, sure.
And
I got
by the
last
3rd
night
or
at
4th game, they are absolutely
Had one
tuned up and
last
not going to
night.
miss anything.
Put it in my purse.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a wrap. You have to tune yourself up constantly.
24 hours.
All the different things he shared with me along those, I could never repay the man. So that's why sometimes he gets mentioned, or that's why when I do these, I never do a clinic or exhibition or lesson that I don't talk about Sailor.
Yeah.
Never. It'd be disrespectful. I wouldn't appreciate what he gave me. He wouldn't charge you. He wouldn't charge you money. You either had to earn your way in there, or you can't get his information. And he was a principled guy like that. You know about his tables, I told you, the 100-ball Runners Club table and all that. Yeah.
You talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, he won't rent them. And all the other tables are going. He will not rent these. I mean, now think about that. And this is the guy that needs money. But no, he's not doing that. You didn't earn your way over here. You have to earn. You're not getting this.
So did you eventually earn your way?
Yeah, but it took a long time. It took a lot of. I had to sweep out the pool room a lot of times. I can tell you that.
That's awesome.
Well, but he was just that kind of a guy. I could never, couldn't ever repay him.